Okay.
I just want to test my microphone. Is anybody can
Yes, we can hear
hear
you.
me?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All righty. So this is group 3, and our presentation is on PHP. My name is Raul Ochoa. We have Dominic Aaron, Charlotte Jang, and Maya Lovin. The first person to present will be Maya with the technical specifications.
PHP technical specifications. To get started with PHP, you need 3 things: a web browser, a web server, and PHP itself. You probably all have a web browser, and depending on your operating system setup, you may also have a web server. If you are already renting web space, you do not have to set up anything on your own. You can write your PHP scripts, upload it to your server you rent, and see the results in your browser. PHP can be used on all major operating systems, including Mac OS X, Linux, and Windows. PHP supports most of the web servers today, including Apache, IIS, and many others. With PHP, you have the freedom of choosing an operating system and a web server. PHP runs on any processor. If your server supports PHP, then you do not have to do anything. Just create a PHP file, put them in your web directory, and the server will automatically parse them for you. PHP is just a scripting language, so it does not require much memory. Next slide.
All right, so the cost. PHP is generally free because it's an open source software. However, where you incur your costs if you decide to use PHP is with your developer cost. And developer rates vary based on experience. Typically, for PHP developer rates typically average between $30 an hour and $120 an hour. I also seen some rates that were a little bit above that, but those are usually outliers. The lower side of the cost, the $30 side of the cost for developer to develop your product is developers who have little to no experience. But one key thing when you're selecting a developer, like you may save costs by using a novice developer, but if the applications are not developed correctly, then it can be costly in the end, and that number can be an exorbitant amount.
The PHP features. PHP script model. The PHP code is included in this special start and end tags. Open source scripting language. PHP is free to download and use. Server-side scripting. PHP can create, open, read, write, delete, and close files on the server. PHP scripts is executed on the server, and then the result is returned to the browser as plain HTML. Platform and server independent. PHP can be used on all major operating systems, such as Linux, Unix, Microsoft Windows, Mac OS X, and the other operating systems. It also supports most of the web servers, such as Apache, IIS, Apple OS X, and many others. With PHP, the users have the freedom of choosing an operating system and a web server. PHP scripts can be embedded in HTML. PHP files also can contain text, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript code. support a wide range of databases. This is one strong and significant feature in PHP. PHP can add, delete, modify data in the database. With PHP, it is simple to write a database-enabled web page. No limit output HTML. PHP can output images, PDF files, Flash movies, and any text. PHP also can automatically generate these files to form a server-side cache for the dynamic content on the web page. Next slide.
So the user perception of PHP is based on many users. PHP has a strong support for databases such as MySQL, Oracle, and SQL. It is better suited for server-side applications as opposed to client-side. PHP does take longer to validate forms or any input or data because the server has to validate the information as opposed to client-side scripting language such as JavaScript, which gives you automatically, the feedback, whether there was an error or whether it's been accepted or not. Also, PHP is simple and easy to use compared to other scripting languages. It is also used all over the world, and it's also faster than other scripting languages such as ASP and JSP. Also, there's a bit of a security concern with PHP in the sense that because it is open source, any bugs can be exploited by hackers wanting to do damage to organizations. So that's something that just needs to be, taken care of. As Dominic said earlier, people want to save money with those novice PHP developers, but if they make any mistakes or if they don't know what they're doing, any hacker that knows the language very well can exploit any mistakes. For the user interface, this is an image from Newsphere, is an example from Newsphere, one of the IDEs of PHP. And here is a PHP form for inserting and updating records in MySQL. Here's another example of one of the features included with PHP is that it allows for debugging PHP codes. And again, this one's for inserting records into MySQL. And now Dominic will talk about scalability.
All right, scalability. PHP, once again, is highly scalable. The reason why is because it's open source. So basically, the world is your oyster as long as you have the skills to develop it. One cool fact about scalability of PHP is actually Facebook was originally built in PHP, which that displays that it is highly scalable because that is the #1 social media platform in this day and age. And then it's also good at scaling horizontally by using it with web servers and such. And that's it right there.
And this is the end of our presentation. I hope you enjoyed it. Any questions, Dr. S?
Okay, no. Let me go ahead and stop the